Greetings, everyone. My name is Samuel Nicholson Jr. And I'll be presenting my second seminar submission for Practicum. As it relates to my Practicum topic, it remains the effect of compensation management on employee performance at Prudential Management Firm, hereafter referred to as PMF. My Practicum form. This internship has proven to be very beneficial, um, mainly because all that I've learned, I've, I've been putting into practice at my practicum site. My current location of the practicum, I'm currently working with Blake and Blake Enterprise Limited, which is a consultancy company, and they have been contracted by Prudential Management Firm. So whereby my on-site job will be Prudential Management Firm, I'll be under the leadership of Mr. Marcelo Blake at Blake and Blake Enterprise Limited. As it relates to the focus and the rationale of my practicum, the employee and employer expectations, they go hand in hand. Employer have expectations of employees, and employees have expectations of employers. Let's start off with the employees. Employees expect that employers will, pay them fairly, give them good compensation for all their hard work. And employee expects that in order to get all this hard work done, employers will have the necessary tools and equipment for them to utilize. Now, the employer, they expect that the employee will work hard, adhere to the rules and regulations, and by so doing, they will in fact increase productivity, which in essence will contribute to the success of the company. Like the saying goes, happy employees equals productivity, productivity equals success. The focus and the justification continued. Let's go on to the justification. This should provide insight into the impact of compensation on employees' performance and the productivity aspect at PMF. It will also serve as a knowledge base for a comprehensive look into the lapses in the management of compensation at PMF. And these findings should also serve as a reference source for further research into the field of compensation for future upcoming researchers. Practicum objectives. I have a general objective, which is to determine the effect of compensation management on employee performance. This general objective have been narrowed into specific objectives that I need to highlight. These specific objectives include: 1. To determine the importance of compensation management on employee performance at Prudential Management Firm. 2. To identify the compensation packages available at PMF. 3. To investigate the problems and challenges associated with compensation management at PMF. And 4. To identify other forms of compensation and recommend ways of addressing challenges that the compensation management at PMF may face. This seminar presentation should in fact highlight and address these specific objectives 2, 3, and 4. 1 is still in the process, as I will complete that at a later date, as I still need to work on the questionnaires and so forth as I'm working here at the company. Now, problems and issues that I'm facing on site. There are a couple, but I'm going to highlight the two major ones that relate to my practicum topic. The first one is no defined wage bands. Wage bands are very important, especially as employers need to have a rationale for why they choose to pay their employees a certain rate and so forth. These levels are defined per the chart below, but no salary bands and ranges were highlighted. This is from the company that I'm working with at PMF. Um, they had the PMF position levels. So as you can see, the position and the levels, but there is no clearly defined table to show the wage band. So basically, this table does not serve any purpose. So this is one of the issues I'm finding I'm finding at PMF. The second problem or issue I need to highlight is the standard appraisal system. They have one in place, but it needs review and it needs to be improved. Basically, what I am experiencing or what I'm seeing is that the one they have in place, it's not really aligned with company objectives and goals for each position. Also the cascading insurance variables is not done, and this is very important because this needs to be put in place. And there is no focus on employee development within the appraisal system, and that needs to be addressed as well as it relates to their appraisal system. Now, what I've done, I went out and I found the various reasons why a wage band needs to be put into place for PMF, and also I have done research on the reasons why the appraisal system needs to be revamped and it needs to be redone. So I will be doing the literature review for both as it relates to those issues that were previously mentioned. Now let's start off with the pay bands. The Rochester Institute of Technology 2016 and the HR Council of Canada both define pay bands as the set and rank jobs by experience and education, and they are responsible within the organization. And these needs to be explicitly done. Williams, McDaniel, and Engewen 2006 found that employees felt more satisfied with their pay level when they had 1. Positive perceptions of pay for performance, 2. Positive perceptions for their job design, 3. Larger base pay, 4. Larger pay increases, and 5. Perceptions of pay fairness. The Houston Chronicle, which also looks at small business, like in the case of PMF, they highlighted that total rewards package should encompass retirement savings, raises, bonuses and incentives, and group health benefits. They also stated that the businesses must conduct job analysis, job evaluation, and job pricing. Henderson 2003 states that performance-based reward plan can be tied specifically into the outcomes of the organization to show the profitability. And this is what PMF needs. They really need this to show the linkages. Now, as it relates to the performance appraisal system that needs to be revamped at PMF, this is what I found out. People are saying that, especially as it relates to Brumbach 1988, who also cited it in Armstrong 2000, that performance can be actions as well as their consequences. So behaviors originate from a performer and convert performance from a concept to an act, and this is very important. Now let's take a step back. How did performance appraisal come about? Why is it important? The history of performance appraisal is fairly concise. Appraisal really began with the Second World War, and it was used to assess results. Spiegel 1962 and Wise and Buckley 1998 affirmed that by the early 1950s, 61% of organizations regularly used performance appraisal, compared with only 15% immediately after World War II. Dulwich, Randall, Drucker, Smith, and Kendall, they all states that it is an indispensable human inclination to judge the worker of other people as well as one's own work. So basically, having a performance appraisal is very important, as without the existence of a planned appraisal system, one can have a tendency to find it natural to evaluate the job performance of another easily, but subjectively. And this is why it is very important. As it relates to performance appraisal, Grote 2002 and Carroll 1996 states that a formal management tool that performance appraisal is a formal management tool that evaluates the performance quality of an employee. So it's very essential in determining productivity, and it also, which is a part of the evaluating process, helps to identify and develop the human performance. Now, with so doing, we need to have a balanced scorecard. The balanced scorecard is important so that the company's objectives are all aligned with employees and the various departments. In fact, this will all help towards productivity, which in the end helps to the success of the company. Now, why is the balanced scorecard essential? It is there to ensure that there is complete coverage of all, I repeat, all of the important strategic elements for the organizations. Often use these performance frameworks for designing strategy. So this balanced scorecard will help top level management, and the information will dissipate into the lower level employees for all individuals to see what the company objectives are and how each person should align themselves towards the company objectives. Now, this balanced scorecard was taken from Kaplan and Norton, and it shows you the four major aspects of the balanced scorecard: the financial aspect, the internal business process, the learning and growth, and the customers. All four needs to work hand in hand, and they all must align themselves towards the vision and strategy of the company. Once these four are aligned to the vision of the company, productivity and success will soar. Again, you can see for the competencies section, the strategic vision and goals of the company. Each and every employee must see why their action or why their behavior needs to be in align with the organizational goals. If those are aligned, we will all reach organizational success. So in order for us to have organizational success, from the very low level employees such as janitors, custodial workers, they need to know why their job are important or how their job are aligned to company objectives, so they can feel and they can be proud of knowing that what they're doing is in fact helping the strategic vision and goals of the company. Now, my methodology, it still remains, I'll be doing random sampling. I need to maintain open lines of communication, structured interviewing. I'll be administering questionnaires here at the company where I'm working. And I'll also use the Survey Monkey tool for analysis. The data collection and analysis procedure. For the data collection instruments, I'll be using a combination of both questionnaires and interviews. And for the data analysis technique, I'll be using the Survey Monkey tool. In terms of the questionnaires, I'll be looking for the biodata, which include the age, sex, and department, and their years of service. I'll also be looking at questions linking compensation management to the employee performance. And also I'll be identifying the compensation packages available. These challenges might be associated with the management of these compensation packages. The interviews, this will be mostly based on experience, opinions, feelings, knowledge, and input. The data analysis technique, I'll be using the bivariate analysis and the deductive approach. Using this deductive approach will be very important because developing a hypothesis will be based on the existing theory that performance will be related to the compensation package. Now, so far, while I'm in the practicum, there are some improvements that I found out that needs to be addressed at PMF. Some of these policy improvements that should be addressed include inclusion of an employment section with standard policies such as sexual harassment, HIV and AIDS policy, substance abuse, personnel files. All these were absent from the current policy. Also, additions made to attendance section to include normal days of work and respect a day for worship as the company's expectation to attend professional development activities. Reorganized all leave activities in one section and added the following that were not in the original document. These were special leave, leave of absences, and so forth. And also developed a code of ethics for the company. The development of a recruitment and selection policy, addition of a cell phone usage policy under company property section, a full revamp of the evaluation and performance section, and improve the scholarship section, limiting levels of education based on yearly basis. An addition includes the disaster preparedness section that we need to assign relevant responsibility to positions available from the updated organizational chart. Also, an inclusion of a call tree option, clearly defining how this should work. An updated resignation, notice pay, termination, and severance to conform to the labor laws as updated in 2016. Also, an addition of a medical benefit. Thank you, and these are my references.